Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name's Natalie and today we're doing a bus life video. We recently had the opportunity to take a 3-week road trip across the southern and central United States to hit all the national parks that we could. So I'm going to show you in this video how we were able to do it for free in terms of camping. We did all free campgrounds like this one. This video will go over the campgrounds, how we found them, and what we really needed to be successful. This first one was a free campground in Carlsbad, New Mexico, because we are on our way here to Carlsbad Caverns, which was the first national park that we hit. This was a beautiful kind of desert park, obviously primitive camping, but lots of safety in numbers. I just put in a small clip here and there throughout the video of us actually driving in the Schoolie so you could get a feel for what it's like and how loud it is. But our plan was we had 3 weeks to do this, so I'm not gonna lie, gas was very expensive, but you could easily replicate this trip and stay for 2+ weeks at each campground and have a very overall low cost of living if you're able to boondock or live primitively in your schoolie while you remote work. This was our first stop. It was Carlsbad Cavern. I just have a few little clips of our trip throughout sprinkled in the video so you can see what it was like. This is the second campground we stayed at, and it was a BLM or Bureau of Land Management land, and you can see it's a little bit more crowded. This was in Tucson, Arizona, but overall still beautiful. I left the video sound on so you could kind of hear all the dogs. There was a little bit more people here, but still again free, can't complain. BLM Land has a rule you can stay for kind of up to 2 weeks, I believe, at a time. So again, very affordable.
Hi, baby girl.
What you're gonna need for these kind of trips, our top recommendation is solar, obviously. We had a little cat carrier because there were some hawks around and wanted him to get snatched. But back to the solar, our whole setup was about $800. We went through Amazon. We don't like Amazon usually, but we did go through Amazon. It was $800, and it got us completely through this entire trip without ever having to hook up. From Tucson, BLM Land, we headed over to Saguaro National Park, which is basically just big cacti. It was really beautiful, pretty, but yeah, solar. And then the second thing we recommend you have is some sort of composting toilet. We did spring for the expensive $1,000 Nature's Head one, but if you're trying to do this and live kind of a nomad lifestyle for cheap, you could totally just use like the bucket method and figure it out yourself. So between solar and then we had our composting toilet, and then we do have water tanks and a propane water heater. So again, we never needed to stop for water. We had fully contained water heating. This campground, I like to show you all the free campgrounds we stayed at, was at the Petrified National Forest. And it was actually just by the gift shop, so nowhere difficult to find. Again, primitive camping, but they had a nice little picnic table set up. This was probably my favorite part of the entire trip. It was in Flagstaff, Arizona, en route to the Grand Canyon. It's called a Dispersed Campground, and it was for off-road vehicles. It was in this mountainous, beautiful forest area. We're from a desert, so I haven't seen forest in such a long time. We got snowed in, so we unexpectedly stayed for a few days, and it's not a national park, but it was probably my favorite part of the trip. Super cozy, lots of free firewood. Again, be prepared, bring a hatchet. We have a little wood stove, but even if you don't have a wood stove, having a fire pit on these trips is so fun. Totally beautiful. I don't think anyone, I think we could have probably just lived there forever. We didn't see a single person. I don't think anyone would ever bother us. This was a huge forest area, and it was for, again, like I said, it was for off-road camping.
Go inside? Come on.
But we used it, and our dogs loved it, and we just had a beautiful couple cozy days enjoying our wood-burning stove and just having a break from life. So the main necessities for this kind of trip, like we said, were the solar, some sort of water source, water tank, and a toilet. And then we had a propane stove, propane water heater, so it was all super easy. But you can get through with most anything. The other thing we used a ton that I thought I would mention is the app. It's called Free Roam. It has all of the free campgrounds on it. I had initially thought that BLM Land was pretty much all there was out there, but we found all these different ones like the Dispersed Campground, just all of them on this app called Free Roam. It's obviously free, and you're able to sort it by like your network, by your safety standards, by cleanliness, all this different stuff. And it was really great. I'd highly recommend it. Not hashtag not sponsored or anything. Here we are again, just using our little stove while my husband was working. Made coffee on it. Just super cozy. I just can't recommend getting a little stove if you can enough. You can obviously get a cheaper one as well. It's just standalone. But it was a ton of fun to just stay in this free campground for a few days, even though it wasn't near anything. Up next, we went to the Grand Canyon, and I'm going to show a clip of that. But then even after that, we went to Arches National Park in Utah, and then we spent a week in Ouray, Colorado. And I didn't get good video of our campground at the Grand Canyon, but rest assured there were multiple actually in the area that were free of charge that we stayed in. It was another beautiful forest, less than 15 minutes from the gate for the Grand Canyon. So totally awesome. Definitely get the Free Roam app. Again, you could see in that clip my husband was working. We really needed reliable internet, so we really highly recommend that Free Roam app because it did show your network coverage as well. And then finally, here is the piece de resistance, was the
I
Grand
know.
Canyon. I'm going to cut the video off before we go to Arches or Ouray because it's getting a little long. But just absolutely gorgeous. It was the trip of a lifetime, and the diesel did end up to more than $1,000 definitely. But again, you could do this trip if you're working remotely with the free roam to find good
It's
coverage
beautiful.
areas. You could do it over months and months and have no issue at all. We're driving in our bus right now on the way to Arches National Park. Just wanted to show you guys kind of what it looks like.